Ladies and gentlemen, hello, and welcome to the first ever Nerdy for 30 review preview. Today, we're going to take a short look at everything we covered in September, give you a thumbs up, thumbs down on whether or not you should watch it. It's all going to be spoiler free, so don't worry if you haven't seen any of this stuff. We're also going to announce the results of our poll where you voted for what stuff we're going to cover in October. Very excited to share that. And not very excited for a couple of things we're going to be watching. So first up, Tim, let's see here. The first thing, how many pods did we get out in September? We did 1, 2, 3.
We did 4.
4 plus Barbarian will have already come out by the time this pod came out.
Wait, what? We did Jaws, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Paddington 2, and Barbarian. Those are the only ones for September, right?
You're missing what we did on September 1st, the rehearsal, season 1.
Oh, the rehearsal season 1. You know, I forgot. September's my 3-check month, so I should have known there was an extra Thursday in there. Everyone loves a 3-check month.
3-check month? That means 5 podcasts. 3 checks, 5 podcasts for you.
And a perfect 10 from us. So
that's right.
This is a good month, Kevin. I feel like this was a good month. The Nathan Fielder experience, incredible. Great to be back. We loved it. Some parts of it really hit home for us as local I want to say a Brooklyner. As a Brooklyner myself and a friendly neighbor from the North, Queens, we both have experience with some of the ground that was trod on Nathan Fielder's thing. Awesome. What'd you think of that, Kev?
Loved it. Definitely a thumbs up there. Definitely check it out. I stand by also. I'll say it until the day I die and have this engraved on my headstone that the first episode of the rehearsal should stand alone and win an Oscar for Best Short Film this year. It's so fucking good. It's like a perfect thesis statement to Nathan Fielder and his brand of comedy and everything he gets into. And it's so breathtakingly, unbelievably well thought out. It's just, you just got to watch it if you haven't already.
Yeah, at least watch the first episode. I think that's a great idea. If you've never heard Nathan Fielder before, watch the first episode. It's great. Jaws, Kevin, an undeniable classic.
Undeniable. Top 5.
Undeniable.
Yeah.
You got to watch it. If you can in IMAX, you should do it. From what I've heard, it's great.
Yeah.
Next time.
Next time, man. After
Kevin,
that, we'll have The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
How much have you thought about this movie since we did it?
The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? Not much. Do you keep thinking about it?
No, I don't. I think that's kind of what I was like. So we watched Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which inspired us to watch Paddington 2. Of the two movies, Paddington 2 has stuck with me way longer than Unbearable Weight. Unbearable Weight's a fun one. I don't even know if I'm going to like rewatch, like if it's on TV. I don't even think it's a good TV movie. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to, it's on. I turn it on halfway through. I'm going to finish Unbearable Weight. It was just, it was fine. I don't know. In hindsight, I'm not as excited about it as I was in the moment, I don't think.
Yeah, same here. I think it's mostly a thumbs down. It was fine. It was a fun movie. There's other stuff that's better to watch. I think if you're already a big fan of Pedro Pascal, I don't even think you need to watch this movie because you're already in on Pedro Pascal. It's a very fun Pedro Pascal movie. If you aren't in on Pedro Pascal and you're like, why do people like this guy so much? Then it's a thumbs up. This movie will get you across the line on liking Pedro Pascal if you're somehow not there already. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I think about the shamanic acting stuff that we talked about on the pod, but they don't even touch on that in the movie so much as just make a couple jokes about it.
I have thought about that a lot since we've talked. Mm-hmm. I don't think I remember a single scene from the movie, to be honest. I remember it was fun. If you're a cage head, get into it. Whereas Paddington 2, for some reason, I've just been catching little glimpses of it throughout my day, throughout my life. Picture mostly him on the ladder. For some reason, that ladder scene really stuck with me. Him telling that guy that he's just his cat food commercials or whatever. There's so many cute moments. Also, the shot of, I think we're just spoiling a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
is this supposed to be spoiler free?
We gotta hold it back a little bit.
Whatever.
Spoiler free.
You gotta watch Paddington 2. It's amazing. There's so many cute shots in it. It's just just a good time. It's just nice.
It's so funny. This keeps happening with Paddington too. But we 2 movies ago talked about Jaws, but still Paddington 2 is the most emphatic thumbs up that we've given so far.
Paddington 2 is huge, but I'd never seen it before. Came out of left field. I mean, it deserves to be in the same category as a Jaws, as a Goodfellas, as a, I don't know, what's another great movie?
I mean, The Princess Diaries.
Yeah, it belongs in the category of the Jaws, Princess Diaries, Paddington 2. It's an elite class we're dealing with here. So it's top tier. But as you can tell, probably our decision making isn't the best when it comes to what to put on the show, which is why I'm jumping ahead, Kevin. It's a teaser for the end of the pod. For the end of the pod. We're going to be going through our lists. We've handed over the voting to the audience on Instagram. We were promoting it and everybody voted. And you guys picked, the top 4 episodes we're going to be doing in October. I'm excited about it, Kevin. It's super exciting, isn't it?
I'm very excited. Is there anything, should we just get into it? Is there anything else you watched in September that you want to talk about first?
Did you, is there anything that you watched that you want to like get off your chest that you want to promote? I mean, right now I'm watching, oh my gosh, what we were talking about doing it for the pod, the anime, like the Cyberpunks.
Yeah, you liking it?
I'm like halfway through Cyberpunk. It's awesome. I'm loving it. It's so good. If you're in the mood for like just a kick-ass anime with like bloody action and cartoon naked people, this is for you. It's great. It's just cool. It's just fun. Every episode ends on like kind of like a little cliffhanger. Story's great. I had no idea it even existed until you suggested doing it for the pod, and then just watched it on a whim, and it's great. It's super cool.
Dude, it was originally on the list for people to vote on for October, but I knew it didn't have a shot in the world. And it's a show. There's 10 episodes. I didn't know how that would fit in. There's so much stuff coming out in October, which is part of the reason we did the voting in the first place. But yeah, that was going to be my number 1 as well. I've been watching through that, really enjoying it. First couple episodes were so grim, the tone. And again, I'll keep it spoiler free. But I think like by the beginning of episode 4, I was like, this show is a fucking blast. Like they have a good time in episode 4. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm ready for more of this. The other one was we just got to the season 4 finale of Gilmore Girls. And the season 4 finale is explosive. Again, I won't say anything that happens. I think in general, season 4 of Gilmore Girls had more like big narrative arcs across the season than other seasons of Gilmore Girls have had so far. And I can't wait to go into season 5 whenever we start that up.
I have not got into Gilmore Girls. My guilty pleasure, which I feel like is of a similar vein, was How to Get Away with Murder. I got into that this month. I loved the first season, and now I think I'm done. I think I'm done with it. I think I watched most of the second season. As the name implies, it's a lot of people getting away with murder, and somehow that's getting repetitive and a little it's repetitive. Repetitive's the big word here. And I find it a little boring. The first season, awesome, amazing, very cool. Now it's it's fine. I don't know if I'm going to finish it. I think I'm done. But hey, if you want one good season of a movie and to be ultimately unsatisfied, How to Get Away with Murder, check it out. Top tier.
That'd be kind of a fun power ranking to do at some point. It's just best first seasons. Because like Friday Night Lights, powerful first season of a show. Yeah. Like you can watch that and never watch anything else and you're good. Heroes, same deal.
Here, I was just going to say Heroes. As soon as you said that, I was like, Heroes is the prime example of they had a season 1 script and nothing else. Things still happened. My God. The only other thing, dude. The only other thing I thought I would bring up, which I texted you about, was I watched Crocodile Dundee 1 and 2 while I was visiting my folks. And I think I texted you, Crocodile Dundee has big Paddington energy. He's just kind of like around. It's very fish out of water. He's just like, an Australian guy who's in New York. And there's some problematic stuff in the movie, which I forgot about. But it's cool. He's just kind of whimsying around. The second one, spoiler alert for the first 2 minutes of Crocodile Dundee 2, he's fishing in the Hudson with dynamite in a boat. and there's a helicopter that comes to stop him. And then the police boat pulls up and they're like, what the heck's going on? And then it's the police chief and he goes, well, if it isn't Crocodile Dundee, get out of here, you loon. And then just like Crocodile Dundee shows up with these gigantic fish that he eats for breakfast in his Manhattan apartment. It's just, I think it's great. You know, I think it is like a 30 on Rotten Tomatoes somehow. But so maybe it's nostalgia or something. But I like both of those movies. They're both pleasant and just kind of fun and dumb.
My favorite Crocodile Dundee fact is that despite it being arguably like kind of a way to sell Australian stuff to Americans, like it very much feels like he's playing this like packaged up Australian stereotype of a man that's, yeah, like you said, a fish out of water in a different place, and how awful that kind of a thing would normally be for the culture that is being stereotyped in that situation. It is, to this day, the top grossing film at the Australian box office. Nothing has ever surpassed it.
I think it was in 1986. I saw something that it was the second highest. The first one was the second highest grossing movie in America in like 1986 or whenever it came out.
Yeah.
Like this was a gigantic movie. And Paul Hogan is a very interesting character. I've heard bad things about him, or just not bad, but just like I think he's kind of like a dick who has like a big ego, but he's like a comedy guy. And he wrote this thing because he didn't think there were enough Australian heroes. So he wanted to create like a real Australian representation that can go out there and like spread like what Australia is. And he's like of the bush. He is like of the people of Australia. He is Australia. And then he just goes, and he's just a badass. All the women are looking at him like how hot this guy is. It's like he just has this weird, like the way Lin-Manuel Miranda writes about Hamilton is how Paul Hogan writes about Crocodile Dundee. You know, like the world revolves around this character. All the women want him. He's infallible. He's perfect. So, but it's fun. It's fun. Yeah. It's a fun movie.
Just good time watches.
Just a good time watch. Speaking of good time watch.
Here we go. All right. So as we've alluded to in this podcast already, there's too much stuff coming out in October. September, dearth. Dearth means a lot. Dearth means a little. I've always understood it being a little. I think dearth means a lot, though.
It could be.
Hold on. I'm going to Google dearth.
Dearth is a tricky word. There's a
dearth is scarcity or lack of something. Great.
That sounds right.
You know, September, there was a dearth of content out there. There was nothing. We had to dig up The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent and then watch Paddington 2 afterwards because we didn't have anything else to do. We were twiddling our thumbs.
Don't you dare say that. Don't you dare talk down to Paddington 2. God, if I'd known what I know now, I would have we would have done Paddington 2 as like the first episode of this podcast. Like Paddington 2 is, God, that bear is a saint. What a beautiful little bear just out in the world, living his best life.
I want one of those Catholic votive candles with Paddington on it. I would buy that in a fucking heartbeat. That's going to be the first piece of merch for this show. Incredible. So anyway, there's too much shit in October. So we needed your help. We asked you to vote. People submitted their votes. We tallied it all up. We are now ready to announce what we are covering in the month of October. First and foremost, I'm going to try to layer up a little bit of music onto this. First and foremost, next week, on Thursday, October 6th, we will be dropping an episode covering Rob Zombie's The Munsters. You all suck and I hate you. I made very clear that I never wanted to watch this movie. It got so many votes after that.
Kevin, there was a moment where Kevin was like, you know, we can lie about the ball. There's no way to know, but for integrity's sake, we have to watch this movie. This is what the people wanted. They wanted the Munsters, and by God, we're going to give them the Munsters.
Jesus, talk about integrity. I had a moment where I was like, you know what? Presidential candidates are allowed to vote in their own elections. I'm going to vote in this election when I saw that Munsters was winning. So I submitted a ballot with Munsters ranked last to try to get it out of there. And then I was like, I could probably submit a couple more because I saw that it didn't change the results.
What?
I tried to commit voter fraud to keep the Munsters out of this election, and it made it nonetheless.
I can't even look at you right now. Just Just you're everything that's wrong with our country, honestly. Trying to rig the vote. You're going to gerrymander districts next time we vote for November when we're doing November voting, which we're still trying to figure out how we're going to do it in November, but be on the lookout for that. Anyway,
we'll get there. If we fucking survive the goddamn Munsters.
I'm excited about the Munsters, Kev. It's going to be great.
That makes one of us. I'm much more excited for what we're doing on Thursday, October 13th. We are watching Hocus Pocus, the original one. There is a Hocus Pocus 2 coming out. You spoke up. You told us a resounding don't talk about it.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. They were both on the list and nobody voted for Hocus Pocus 2.
No.
It was just Hocus Pocus, which, honestly, cool. If anything, like a sequel coming out is just a reminder to watch the first movie. So we're going to do that.
Because it had to be really good to get people to want a sequel, 20 years later? It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Loving that.
But it's great. It's cool. It's in now.
Oh, it's super in. After that, October 20th, we're going to be covering the finale, but also just really the whole first season of She-Hulk. I'll already preemptively give that show a thumbs up. If you want to be ready to listen to that episode, start watching She-Hulk now. It's so fun. It's a really good time.
It's great. I'm enjoying it a lot. I'm excited. This is what I'm excited to talk about. I feel like it's a stalwart of what Nerdy for 30 is all about. I was excited for it.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. And after that, this one surprised both of us a lot. I think this was the biggest shock of the voting. On Thursday, October 27th, we are going to be talking about season 1 of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. I didn't know anyone was watching this. This was the first thing to win, and it kept winning through every round of the voting.
Yeah, this was like 1 or 2 the whole time, right?
Yeah, it was number 1 for most of the vote. I get it. Munsters, there's a joke around it. It's a bit submission. People are they're going to have to watch the Munsters. But for Lord of the Rings to stay in that top spot, it had to be highly ranked across pretty much all the ballots.
Yeah, and I'm watching House of Dragons right now. I'm loving it. I'm thinking it's pretty cool. It's pretty sweet. Don't know how excited I am about the Lord of the Rings show. I like the Lord of the Rings movies. I like the Hobbits. All those are great. I read the books. Love all of that. Kind of feel like it's tapped out, right? What else are we going to get from this show? But I guess we're going to find out. We're going to find out what else there is for Middle Earth and these guys. It's a prequel, I guess. So that's fun, right? There's nothing but good prequels. And we'll see. This is my Munsters, Kevin. That's what I'm going to put it right there. This is my Munsters. But we're doing it. We're sticking to the poll, giving the people what they want.
Yeah, we're going to find out for 10 straight hours of Amazon Prime's finest. It's a good show when they're advertising it on the boxes.
Yes.
If you have a box of button batteries show up at your house and is trying to get you to watch a show, that show needs help.
I don't know. I remember getting a box once with Taylor Swift's latest album on it, and that thing didn't need any help. Maybe it's just a good thing. Maybe they just created something beautiful for all of us to enjoy, Kevin.
Yeah, maybe it's that. It'll be interesting, too. For that one, I'm mostly excited because Lauren's never seen any of the Lord of the Rings movies. So, because this is a prequel, I feel like this would be a good way to kind of segue into it. And I know that, I know Elrond's in it. So, there's a couple characters that she'll get to see later on. But in general, I mean, I'm not really a Lord of the Rings guy. Are you a Lord of the Rings guy?
I can't say I am. But the movies are great. But my big thing with the Lord of the Rings movies is if we need an edit without the Hobbits. That would be an amazing movie. The Hobbits suck. They're boring. They're not interesting to me. I don't like Hobbits. If this show just doesn't have Hobbits in it, it will be a win. It will be a win. Honestly, The Hobbit was a better movie than Lord of the. It wasn't a better movie, but I enjoyed The Hobbit a lot. You know why? Only one Hobbit made the movie way better.
Oh my God. How
I give The Hobbit 1 Hobbits, which is as close to 5 stars as you're going to get from me with Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, 4 Hobbits. And it's good, but there's 4 Hobbits.
That's like a reverse rating system that's really going to fuck up Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Oh boy. And then we got we're going to give you a little bit of extra pod for the month. Want to do a holiday pod this time. So we're dropping a special bonus pod on Halloween that Monday covering Halloween Ends. the end of the Danny McBride Halloween trilogy. The first movie of which was incredible, and the second movie of which was incredibly bad.
Incredibly bad. It was miserable. What do you think on the spectrum between incredibly good and incredibly bad? Are we going to get something closer to 1 or closer to 2?
It's got to be closer to 2. There's no way. I don't think there's any way. I'm open to this movie being worse than Halloween Kills.
I think that's the direction it's going. You know, it's Halloween movies rarely get better.
Yeah.
They just kind of stay the way they are. And I'm going to have a little goss from the set. Just as a little teaser for it. We've got some people on the inside, and they're going to give us that sweet Halloween Ends goss that you're not going to find anywhere else. So tune in for that, people. Love it.
God, I love it. That's what we got coming up. That's all for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Next up is going to be the fucking Monsters next Thursday, so tune in for that. And until then, stay nerdy, everybody.
Stay nerdy. Bye.